Hello everybody and welcome back. We're on yet another limit question. You'll find that there is often on any of the Calc 1000 midterms a large chunk that is just devoted to various limits. That's why we try and do many limit problems in class, talk about limit properties. But still, I find that just no prof out there can cover all of them. So I wanted to take, that's part of the reason why we're doing this. We're taking time to look at various different examples. And question 12 is an interesting one. It's a limit as x goes to infinity, but it's in the exact same style as question 8 up here, and we're going to tackle it the same way. It is a function with another function inside it. Okay? And it's got arctan, it's got e to the 2x. These are functions that we should be sort of comfortable with. And certainly they're things we might remember. Arctan, I specifically mentioned him when we talked about horizontal asymptotes. And you say, why are we talking about horizontal asymptotes? This is a limit question. Remember, horizontal asymptotes are the behavior as x tends to infinity and negative infinity. They are very much connected with a problem like this. And so we might try thinking about the horizontal asymptotes of arctan when we do this question here. But we're going to break it down in stages, and I'm going to ask myself, okay, x tends to infinity. What does this actually mean? Well, this just means as the x values are getting bigger and bigger in a positive direction. Okay? So as x goes to infinity, and we say, well, this is arctan of e to the 2x, the most inside of all functions, and we should be practiced at inside functions for the chain rule, is 2x. So as x is going to infinity, as x is becoming big positive numbers, a billion, 10 billion, a trillion, what is 2x doing? Well, 2x is becoming even bigger positive values, 2 billion, 20 billion, 2 trillion. So these guys are also becoming arbitrarily large positive numbers. Okay, that's great. So as 2x is going to infinity, what's e to the 2x doing? And you could say, well, e is above 0, and so it's sort of like raising powers of 2 to large positive values. Or you could remember, what does the graph of e to the x look like? We talked about this in an earlier question. But as we move further to the right, as our input, 2 to the x, goes off towards positive infinity in this direction, the e to the x values are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So they are also going to plain old positive infinity. Finally, our last step, what is arctan doing as e to the 2x goes to positive infinity? Arctan of values that are, and the values here, e to the 2x, arctan of values going to positive infinity, well, we might remember arctan sort of looks a little like this. But as we move to the right, our values approach the horizontal asymptote of pi by 2. Okay. Now, this is all very nice, very coincidental, and you might say, well, nothing's really happening. All these things are going to x. Okay? So the answer here is pi by 2, and just let's quickly... there we go. It's a. So a is going to be the answer we're looking for. Now, let's just stop and say, okay, what if the question had been a little different? Just a little different. What would be going on? Okay, so I'm instead going to answer a very similar question, limit of arctan of e to the minus 2x. And let's carry out the exact same logic and the exact same reasoning. Okay, so as x goes to positive infinity, minus 2x, well, x is going to things like a billion, a trillion. Minus 2x is going to things like minus 2 billion, minus 2 trillion. These are big, big values, but they're not positive. So minus 2x is going to minus infinity. What's e to the minus 2x doing? Well, minus 2x is becoming very, very big negatively. And so we are headed out to the left side of the graph. And e to the x, you might remember, has a limit as x goes to negative infinity. These guys are going down to 0. So he's approaching 0. Not only that, he's actually approaching 0 from above. So if we needed that, that could be important. And now arctan of e to the minus 2x. As we approach 0 from above, what's happening? We're approaching the value of 0. Okay? So you can see the same sort of reasoning, we're even approaching 0 from above just by reading this graph. The same sort of reasoning can get us a different answer if we only change the question ever so slightly. Okay? And so this is the sort of reasoning that you can be expected to do. Break the function down into its various compositions. Ask, what's the innermost function doing as x is going to 3, or going to 0 from above, or going to minus infinity? And now that I have that innermost function's behavior, as x approaches 3, that innermost function is approaching 4 from above. Then what's the next layer doing? What's the e to the minus 2x doing? We just think about it as a nice chain of limits going until we finally get to the end. Okay? So that's how we do those questions. But once again, to recap, the answer was pi by 2 in this question. Pi by 2. All right? So I'll see you guys in the next video for the next question.